iQOO Z9 is definitely the best phone that you can pick under 20,000 rupees. Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video, I'll be doing a complete review of the iQOO Z9. So before we get started, let's look at the pricing. This phone is available in two variants. Base variant is priced at 20,000 rupees. It comes with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. Next variant is priced at 22,000 rupees and it comes with the same 8GB of RAM but with 256GB of storage. And on both variants, you get LPDDR4X RAM and UFS 2.2 storage. Besides that, it's available in two colors, brushed green and the graphene blue. We have the graphene blue in the 256GB variant. That's the variant that we have reviewed. Now, as for the review, we'll start off with the design and build. By the way, you can check out our unboxing video for the complete physical overview and all the nuances, but I'm just going to talk about my personal opinion about the phone itself in this video. So design and build, I'll say this design and build is not anything revolutionary, not something very unique like nothing to weigh. It's a very utilitarian design. There isn't anything bad with it, but there isn't anything super unique with it either. Like we have the iQOO Neo 9 Pro from the same brand, but it has a very flashy, sporty look to it. This one looks good, but doesn't have that flair to it. But still, I'm not complaining. I'm just mentioning that design is good, but it doesn't really stand out like a Nothing Phone 2A or iQOO Neo 9 Pro. It doesn't have a very unique presence in terms of design and build. Okay, the reason I'm stressing so much about this point is because there are very few cons with this phone, and the design is one thing that stands out when you compare all the good stuff. Besides that, form factor of this phone is pretty good. It's pretty sleek considering the bigger battery size. Weight distribution is done pretty well. It's comfortable to hold and use even for longer duration. Now when it comes to the hardware department, it comes with all the basic sensors, but it is missing infrared blaster, NFC, and the proximity sensor on this phone is a virtual proximity sensor, like it's not an actual proximity sensor. So basically what happens is whenever you get a call, you basically answer the phone in this way, and it basically uses gyroscope and accelerometer instead of a proximity sensor. So it's a virtual proximity sensor. Because of that, whenever you're on a call, display just doesn't directly turn off immediately. It works, but it's a bit finicky. Now that's another con that I want to mention about this phone. So two cons so far. Besides that, the rest of the hardware is pretty good. It's got an in-display fingerprint scanner, which is super fast. We got the face unlock feature, which also works very well, even in low lighting conditions. Now here's the SIM card tray. It has a nano SIM slot along with a hybrid SD card slot. I wish it came with a dedicated SD card slot, but it's not a big deal. So on this phone, you can either use two nano SIMs or a nano SIM and an SD card. If you want more storage, it's better to get the 256GB variant, and that would be my recommendation. By the way, for a quick reference, its best competitor, Nothing Phone 2A, doesn't have an SD card at all. Like you have to get the bigger variant if you want more storage. So at least compared to that, we have an edge on this phone. Besides that, this phone obviously has 5G, and these are all the bands that it supports. I've tested 5G, it works without any issues. It also has dual 4G, and I don't have any issues with networking, mobile data or calls. So everything works pretty well. Now when it comes to the display department, this phone comes with a 6.67-inch AMOLED display with a punch hole design with 120Hz screen refresh rate. Now this is definitely a huge upgrade from iQOO Z7, which came with a dewdrop notch. So the display definitely looks much more modern, and you also have this feature called visual enhancement, which makes things look a bit more saturated while you're watching videos on Netflix or YouTube. First of all, AMOLED display already makes things a bit more saturated, but if you want to push it a bit more, you can enable this feature. Besides that, it's a pretty good display. It also has wideband L1, so you can watch high definition videos on apps like Amazon Prime or Netflix. And as it's an AMOLED display, blacks are true blacks. You get a great experience while gaming and especially while watching videos. And on that note, this phone also comes with dual stereo speakers, and they are pretty loud. On this phone, you also got an additional audio boost. Like you can go up to 100% volume. It's sufficiently loud, and you can also increase it up to 150 and 200 as well. At 200% volume, there is a bit of distortion. I wouldn't recommend you to use it continuously, but still, if you want a bit more sound, you can have it without any third-party application. So that's another good thing. And by the way, there is no audio jack on this phone. So I guess using true wireless headset or a Bluetooth headset would be much more preferable. Now coming to the software department, this phone is running FunTouch OS 14 based on Android 14. And this phone will get 2 years of OS updates. So that means it will get Android 15 and Android 16 as well, and 3 years of security updates. Now this FunTouch OS is a skinned version, so it doesn't look like stock Android. It also comes with a bit of bloatware, but you can uninstall them and you can disable them as well. Now, most people talk about the bloatware on Vivo and iQOO phones, Realme phones, MI phones, but they talk very less about other features. Like ignore the bloatware, this one also comes with a lot of useful features. Like you have an inbuilt app lock called app encryption. Next, we can hide applications. You can hide files like photos and videos for your privacy. Next, we have a lot of cool gestures, screen gestures, and you can do a lot of customization, like you can change the animation of lock screen, fingerprint scanner, and do a lot more stuff. Now, these features are not available on other phones which have stock Android experience. So this is another good point. Besides that, starting with FunTouch OS 14, this one also got a new sidebar feature which can allow us to open applications in floating windows. Now, this feature was not available on the previous FunTouch OS, not even on the iQOO Z7. Maybe it got it with the new update, but at least right out of the box, there was no such feature. So these floating windows are definitely pretty useful and can improve your multitasking a lot. At least I personally use it a lot. And you also have this extended RAM feature which can further improve the performance of the phone. Overall software experience has been pretty good. I didn't have any major issues, like there is nothing too buggy. Animations are pretty smooth and all those additional functions that I've mentioned are definitely very useful. Especially the call recording feature that many people are interested in. It comes inbuilt and it can silently record all your calls if you're interested. Now, when it comes to performance, this is the place where this phone really shines. It comes with the Dimensity 7200 processor, and this is the only phone which offers this level of performance under 20,000 rupees. By the way, I forgot to mention, you also get an instant 2,000 rupees discount, bringing the effective price of this phone at 18,000 rupees for the base variant and 20,000 rupees for the 256GB variant. So this is the most powerful phone that you can get under 20,000 rupees. Now, this isn't just a statement, it is actually very powerful. You can see the direct results in gaming like BGMI or PUBG. And if you're interested, you can also try out Genshin Impact. Besides that, you also have features like motion control, where you can perform some specific actions like pulling up or doing a side push to perform specific actions on the phone. Now, this is a pretty unique feature available on the iQOO and Vivo phones. And we also have 4D vibration and voice changer features. So all these features are pretty cool for gamers. And even for regular users, it offers great performance. Even if it doesn't affect you in day-to-day life, it can affect you in the long run. So having a very powerful processor is great for gamers and good for normal users as well. Now finally, when it comes to battery department, it comes with a 5000 mAh battery and a 44-watt flash charger inside the box. Like you do get a fast charger inside the box. And charging speeds, it takes about an hour to completely charge, but you can get about 80% in about 30-40 minutes. And battery life is also pretty good. On average, you can easily get from 6 to 7 hours of screen on time, depending upon your usage. I personally don't game a lot, so I got around 7 hours of screen on time. If you game a lot, maybe you might get 6 hours or 5.5 hours, but still it can easily last you till the end of the day. Now finally, when it comes to cameras, this one comes with a dual camera setup with a 50 megapixel primary camera with Sony IMX882 sensor with optical image stabilization. That's followed by a 2 megapixel camera that's for taking portrait shots. And for selfies, we get a 16 megapixel camera. These are some sample shots. Check out my dedicated camera review for more information. But here's the gist. Cameras on this phone are pretty good at taking photos, portrait shots, and the front-facing camera is also pretty good. It also takes pretty good video. Overall, cameras are definitely pretty good for the price. With that said, the main highlight is still the performance. So guys, to conclude, this phone has a lot of pros. Like it has a solid build, pretty good display, like it can't get any better. It's got good cameras, great performance, and great battery life. As for cons, for the price there aren't any cons, but if I have to nitpick, I would say it is missing infrared blaster, it is missing NFC, and as I've mentioned, it has a virtual proximity sensor. So it's not 100% accurate like an actual proximity sensor, but it still gets the job done. And finally, I forgot to mention, this phone doesn't have a wide-angle camera, but I personally don't think it's a huge deal. Like if you see other phones with a wide-angle camera, you do get a wide-angle camera, but it doesn't perform well anyway. So instead of having a bad wide-angle camera, it's actually better to have a better rear camera, which is actually more useful. Anyway, it's my personal preference, and I don't think a lack of wide-angle camera should be a big deal. So guys, overall, I can definitely recommend this phone to anyone who's looking to buy a phone under 20,000 rupees. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you like this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and do subscribe to our channel. With that said, this is Nikhil signing off. Bye bye.